Y'all notice today I usually put videos of me playing guitar and singing. Well, right now there's not a guitar in my lap. There's been something that's been going on in my head and in my chest for about 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks. And it's just been busting and just inside of me. Now, for those that get easily offended and get your feelings hurt or your toes stepped on, right now is the time to take your finger or your thumb, whatever you do, and turn the video off. Because most of y'all know I speak my mind. I was blessed and cursed without a filter between my brain and my mouth, and I know a lot of y'all know that. So right now is the time to turn the video off, and I'm going to give you a second to do that. Well, since you're probably still watching now, I guess don't get mad at me and leave nasty little comments on here. If you want to, it's fine. I got thick skin. But there's certain words that you can and cannot say on Facebook and YouTube. You will get deleted. You will get shot down. And your videos will be taken off. So I'm just going to use certain words like Kung Fu or Big Brother or higher ups. It took less than a week. And let this sink in. It took less than a week for 99% of the churches in this country to shut their doors, either by government or either by their own church members or even by their higher ranking members of the church. You let that sink in. It just took 1 week. I have seen my pastor, Chad Maxwell. He's a good man. I love him. I love him and his wife.
And kids.
And kids. You hear a voice behind the camera, that's Shelly. So I won't feel like a goofball talking to myself. But I have the utmost respect for what they have done the past 4 weeks to the month, 5 weeks. It's been so long now, I can't keep track of time now. They get up and they preach. Chad will preach a message. He will burn it up like the church house is full. Jennifer will sing. And I know how hard that is because I'm sitting here in my room and I have Shelly here with me, and it's still hard for me to do this. And I see other churches, their other pastors doing the same thing, doing the Facebook Live, and that's awesome. They're doing their part. They're doing what God led them to do. People has been getting tickets for going to church, even facing jail time. This is the 1% that the government, I said a keyword government, Big Brother, that was the 1% that they wouldn't let someone else tell them what they can and cannot do. And they face jail time. They face tickets. In my book, that's something you have to do because, when you look in the Bible, I read today, Jesus himself, he broke man-made laws. Healing on the Sabbath day. If you did something on the Sabbath day that was unheard of, that was against the law, and you could get in major trouble for it, but Jesus still did what he had to do for his Father on the Sabbath day. And kind of right now, we're kind of facing the same thing. If we go to church because of the Kung Flu, a lot of people get in trouble for it, or they just don't want to get out and get sick. They don't want to go to church because they don't want to get sick. But you will see them at the Lowe's and you see them at the Walmart shopping like it ain't nothing. And to me, that's kind of a double standard. But when I say church, I'm not talking about four walls in a building, and a roof and a door and pews and classrooms. I'm not talking about that. To me, the church is the congregation, the gathering, the people. The church has been under a test for the past month. I'm here to tell you we failed miserably. I understand that people have health issues, lung issues, heart issues, low immunity system. I know I'm butchering words up like that. I didn't go to school. I don't have any kind of English, but you know what I'm talking about. So look over my word messing up. But to those people, I understand why they would stay at home. But it should be that person's choice to stay at home. It should be my choice staying home and not going to church. It's not been my choice. It's not been Shelley's choice. It's not been a lot of choices of families across this country. That choice was taken away from us. Now, Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee deemed church as an essential. And I agree with him 100%. I understand the social distancing. I understand not being real close. I mean, I'm perfectly happy with social distancing because in my world, every day for the past 40 years, tipping my finger straight out, that's my social distance. You don't get in my bubble. But I feel it is not man's choice to whether or not go to church. It's not the government. It's not leaders of the church. Unless it's the pastor. If the pastor says, okay, we have a lot of elderly people here, that's his decision. And I really believe that. I believe that God leads the pastor and the pastor leads the congregation. The problem is a lot of people want to jump above the pastor and have things run their way. That happens in churches all across this country. And I know some people think, if I go to church, I'm not going to get sick. I'll be fine. I'll be like Kenneth Copeland and I can blow the coronavirus away. You ain't supposed to think that way either, because that's tempting God. I'm a person that was raised, my mother was a snake handler. I've seen pictures of her with rattlesnakes up in her hands. Now, am I condemning that religion and that belief? No, I am not. If that's how you worship God, that's how you worship God. But my opinion is that is tempting God. The way I see it is, if I go to church and I get sick, I would rather go to church worshiping God and get sick than go to the Walmart or the Lowe's and get sick. One way or another, there's a good possibility you're going to get sick. There's people protesting across this country wanting to go back to work. Work, 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 work. You show me one group that's protesting to go back to church. It's because you don't have to protest to go back to church. Because church, it's in the Constitution. These people that we're listening to, politicians, people, deacons, elders, that makes a decision not to go to church for us. I'm a big time supporter of President Trump. But if he was to tell me to go to church or not go to church, I wouldn't let that stop me. The reason why is President Trump did not go to the cross. He did not get beaten. He did not give his life for my sins. He cannot heal me of anything. President Trump's been a good president, but he's not greater than our God. It kills me that I can't go to my church and worship my God that died for me, that delivered me from everything, from the drugs to the alcohol. If people only knew the things that I have done in my past, the things that only God knows himself, then how can I let a man, flesh and blood, tell me what I can and cannot do? Because a man of flesh and blood has not done one thing for me. I believe you can worship God in your truck, in your car, at work, at your home, in your closet. I believe you can worship God by watching Facebook Live, but it's not the same when you're gathering with people. What I felt this morning when it was just probably 10, 15 people with us. Shelly knows the number. How many?
12.
There was 12 people at church this morning. It was homecoming. We usually have 200 or 300 people come through that church on a homecoming service. But that's fine. The 12 that needed to be there was there. Now I do know that some people was told not to come. And that right there troubles me. It troubles me to my core. But I'm not the one going to have to answer for that. Our job is to encourage and help people and invite them to church. When we start turning them away just because of a sickness, then to me we become the sickness. The time is now that we have to stand up for our God. Our God said, you deny me before my Father, and I will deny you. So what kind of representative are we doing? Staying at home, letting our pastors preach their heart outs while we sit at home in our pajamas. What kind of example is that our pastors are giving it their all, and we're too scared to step out our front door and face many more dangerous things than the Kung flu? A lot of y'all know this, but I consider myself a 3%er. If you don't know what the 3%ers are, look it up. But I'm going to tell you what I am more than a 3%er. And that is a born-again Christian. That my Savior has died for me. So if you think, well, I will fight for my family and my country, but I'm willing to go to many more lengths for my God. I would have been going to church weeks ago, but I was doing the good little boy thing, getting patted on the head. Well, not really patted on the head, but I was doing what I thought that was right. But come to find out, I could have went to church. I could have went to church and backed my pastor up. But I didn't find that out until today. But like I said, I want to stress this point. I am not talking about the sick. I'm talking about the healthy ones. We let Big Brother shut our church. Are we going to hand them over our Bibles next? Are we going to be the first ones in line to get the mark of the beast? You might say that's a conspiracy theory, but it's not. It's in the Bible. There's a time in everyone's lives that we have to stop being sheeple and standing up for what we believe in. My belief is gathering with my brother and sisters, worshiping God. He could be in a cow pasture summers. I don't care. The thing is, we need to get back in church. I hope what I've said has made sense to you. I hope it encouraged you. More importantly, I hope it opened your eyes. If you get mad at me, I'm still going to pray and love you. If you want to blister me on Facebook, you go right ahead, because I've got thick skin. If you want to tell me how wrong I am, I'll listen to it, and I won't get mad, I promise you. Church is going to be open, from what I hear, next Sunday at regular time, 10 o'clock.
I don't know yet.
Make sure, if you're not positive what time, I'm sure Shelly will post what time church will be starting. Lord being the helper, Chad's going to deliver the message. Unfortunately, here I am saying about going to church, but I took off of work today so I could be there, but I have to work next Sunday. That may sound hypocritical comparing what I just said, but I have to work to feed my family. But my wife will be there to represent my family. My daughter will be there to represent our family. My mom-in-law, or I say mom-in-law, my mom will be there. My pop will be there. And I'm sure all my aunts and uncles are going to be there. So please, no matter what people tell you, no matter what that TV tells you, please come to church Sunday. And I promise you, you will be blessed. God bless you, and I love you.